It's Thursday. You know what time it is. Time for the hottest wrestling podcast on the planet. Beyond the Barricade with your hosts, Dollar Bill, the Cleaner, and the Brain. Let's get started.
Woot. All right. So discussing this earlier in the week, we were in the last couple of podcasts, we were discussing about different ways about running a promotion, all the good things that come with it, all the bad, and all the things it takes. So we should also touch upon the most important part of the promotion, the promoter.
Exactly.
So with that in mind, let's dive into today's topic, which is how exactly should a promoter run and not run a wrestling organization, federation, however you want to call it.
First off, like I said in the past, you want a promoter to be personable. You want people to be able to enjoy dealing with him. You don't want a guy to be a complete a-hole and screw everybody over just for his own profit. There have been plenty of guys over the years who have done that, and they've all gotten their asses handed to them. There have been promoters who people have been clamoring to work with over the years. We've all been involved with some promotions where the guys are clamoring to work at these promotions. Jersey All Pro, GCW, ICW, Ace. All of these promotions have great guys in charge or have had great guys in charge. And those are the guys that people want to work. They want to work for them. They want to be in front of those people's fans. So first and foremost, the person has to be likable, has to be personable, and has to be able to draw in the talent.
Yes. One thing I would say is, making sure the talent want to be there. Make it a good environment. You don't want a backstage full of problems. You want to one thing is definitely paying your talent on time. We've heard so many stories about the reason why nobody wants to work for certain promotions is because they never want to pay their talents in due time. So, just making sure I think the best thing to keep in a promotion a very good place to be is to keep your roster happy.
Considering also that most wrestlers in the indie scene aren't exactly making a lot of money.
Yes.
So they do need the money right up front, or at least right at the at the time of the show, not days later afterwards where a check may bounce or deposit doesn't go through.
Yeah, because the ones that are not making that money, they're looking forward to that check. They don't want to see it bounce.
Sometimes it's the gas money to get home.
Yeah. Sometimes they just end up working for free. The money they're getting paid is going straight back into travel.
Yeah. Just for the exposure. So a good promoter has to be able to work with them on that, especially the fees and whatnot.
A good portion of the guys that I've worked with over the years, and you guys know the promotions I've worked for as their medic, they pay you right there on the spot. I've seen the guys walking around the back after each guy's match, handing them their money right off the mat. So these guys are literally stumbling to the back, and the promoter is standing there waiting with their envelope, which is the way to do business. You take care of your guys right up front, they're going to come back to you. Because otherwise, you're going to be selling tickets, and all of a sudden, oh, I didn't get paid last time, I'm not coming. I didn't get paid last time, go screw yourself. And they're left with a full arena and no talent.
Yeah, and that's going to make talent want to come back.
Exactly.
And maybe next time they come back, they cut you a little break because of how you treated them. So, yes, keeping your talent happy is one of the biggest things you can do as a promoter.
One thing else I want to add in there is the good promoter. If the good promoter takes care of the talent, the other thing also that the promoter would have to do is promote the talent as well to actually get the people in the seats.
Definitely.
So taking care of the talent will give the promoter more ammunition to to promote them and coming to their shows, and people will want to buy a ticket to see someone's butt get kicked.
Exactly.
Or
Or to see somebody kick somebody's butt.
Or in some cases, being thrown through some glass, chairs, barbed wire, that old good thing.
Good old fashioned doors, tables, ladders.
Glass
Oh my.
chains,
Oh my.
Absolutely.
wine cabinets.
Oh God.
Now, I have a question for the two of you.
Ask away.
If you were to ever run a promotion, what is one thing that you would absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, not allow any wrestler to do?
Ooh. Okay.
And you know exactly why I'm going there.
Ooh. Okay. I know one thing I would not allow a wrestler to do is to get too physical with the crowd. Like, don't start fights. Don't get stupid with the crowd, with the people who actually pay to see you, and start getting into brawls with them. It's like your actions with your opponent in the ring, not with the crowd. Don't start going too crazy with them. I mean, if they start first, you have to do something to defend yourself, but don't be the one to start the fight. If it happens, because we've seen it happen, where if some overzealous fan gets stupid,
Yeah.
they end it, but don't start it.
Right.
That was one thing.
Absolutely.
That's one thing I said. It's a big no. Oh, and also stupid, inappropriate relations with female talent at the show, or even backstage groupies, as they said, or ring rats, as was once known Wayne the Bass. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't care after the show, but not during the show.
I would probably have to say, like, more aligned with you is just keep it professional,
Yeah.
When we show up to the venue, we show up to do a job,
Yeah.
We're not like you could probably see plenty of times on the independents where promoters they get fined by the venue because they made too much damage.
Oh.
You don't want that, because that's going to hurt your company, especially if you're a smaller company in the long run. So I would say just keep everything professional. Don't do too. If you're going to have a hardcore match, try to keep it all in the ring. Don't try to go to the outside.
Yeah. Or at least clear it beforehand and have repair money handy.
Yes.
So
where were you going to go with this, John?
now, Brain, your turn.
First and foremost, I'm all about the safety of everybody involved with the show, from the talent to the ring crew to the fans.
Yes, ring crew.
And as a medic, I'm all about safety. And the one thing that I will never, ever allow, if I ever was able to run a promotion, is anything that has to do with fire inside a building.
Ooh,
now,
yeah,
if you're doing an outside show, I might consider it. But when you're inside an enclosed area, there is no way in hell I'm letting open flame be involved in any match.
Yes.
Yeah, no fireballs.
Exactly. Because we just saw a video today.
Yeah.
Of a wrestler who used a fire spot and is now in the burn unit because of it.
Okay, let's back up a bit, because we don't have video to show. So let's bring more into detail into this. So is a video that was taken where?
XPW.
I'm not surprised.
Me neither.
Neither am I.
I'm not surprised at all either.
The wrestler was Masada, Masada. He had a bottle of rubbing alcohol, and we all know he had a beard. Keyword there, had. He spit the alcohol through a lighter, and some of the alcohol had dripped into his beard, and it set his face and body on fire. And while he was trying to pat the flames out with his hands, he still had the alcohol bottle in his hands, and he burned himself. He is now in the burn unit with second and possibly third degree burns on half of his face and body. It took a fan jumping the barricade and grabbing a fire extinguisher to put him out because the ring crew and everybody else froze.
Because a lot of people probably thought it was part of the show too,
Yeah.
or they got either they thought it was part of the show, or they were just that much in shock they had no idea what to do.
I think it was more the shock of the situation.
And I want to ask, was this, you said alcohol and not lighter fluid?
No, it was alcohol.
See,
Yeah.
this is why a lot of the wrestlers, when you see fire spots, they're using lighter fluid because it goes out just like that.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just pray that he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
See what happens.
And what's crazy enough is, according to what I read and saw, this was in the middle of the match, and he finished the match before they convinced him to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that happen before.
Oh, yeah. As a promoter, I'm having my referees throw up the X, ringing the bell. This match is over. He's going to the hospital right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking any answers.
Because when you were talking about fire, the first thing I thought of was the Cactus Jack Mick Foley situation from ECW, I think in '96.
No, this was just the other day.
Yeah, no, fire is not something you should be playing with.
No, not at all.
Literally.
Not only would I not allow it, but if for some reason I happen to be occupied with something else and it happens, not only is that match going to be instantly over, I'm going to make sure that the wrestler is ejected from the building and taken into custody, because now I qualify that as attempted arson and endangering the public and creating a endangerment
right, creating an endangered environment for the fans and the talent in there.
Right.
So yeah, you heard pretty much every legal case there too, and not to mention the venue can also sue because now the talent has breached contract in addition to the venue. So the talent has to deal with you and the venue and also the local authorities, for doing this stupid display of reckless behavior. We'll put it that way.
His pyromaniac routine.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I want to do a pure promotion, so we don't have to do any of that hardcore stuff.
That's also what makes it from a promoter tricky, because a good promoter would have to know how to run it to where you said you want to make it pure. You're going to put a point. Whereas the brain, I know, is more used to the deathmatch hardcore style. So the thing is,
I'm used to it all.
Well, yeah, but it's like it's still giving an example of these different styles out there. So the point is, for a good promoter would have to be somebody who has to keep the theme steady, not just go crazy with the trends, because the problem also with trends is they fade.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. One day it will be hardcore glass. Next day it will be fire. Like, somebody's going to be stupid enough to try another fire trick like that. Or somebody's going to do electricity. Like, it's always going to be like one up versus put on a good show where you have, good wrestlers wrestling. But on the other hand, if you make it pure, you also got to make something that people want to reach out to as well. I mean, that's what the promoter would need to do.
Sometimes you'll have to go that route for the shock value. Like, especially if you have a really heated rivalry going on, sometimes the only way to do the payoff for the rivalry is to go with the hardcore style.
Right.
Like a steel cage match or TLC match.
Or a Falls Count Anywhere match like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also notice you said sometimes it has to go that far. So it's not something you're just going to randomly throw out there because, you feel like it. Exactly. Has to build to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think a good promoter would know how to do that. And also, let's jump into that second, because there's one thing we were talking about as well. A good promoter would know how to get good bookers.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, the promoter cannot just be the booker as well.
No, definitely not.
No.
Now, we know a couple of guys who are absolutely phenomenal at booking matches.
Yes.
Yes.
So I would definitely want to consult them on getting the matches booked in the best possible way and matching up the talent the best way I can.
Now, let's further dive into that. So, why, in your opinions, and both your opinions, why should the booker not, and should the promoter not be the booker?
Personally, I think having a separate booker allows the promoter to concentrate more on what he's supposed to do, which is promote the event, promote the federation. Let the booker handle the talent. I mean, the promoter can be involved in getting the talent, but once you get a hold of the talent, you transfer any contact info over to the booker, and they work out the logistics with the wrestler.
Yeah, it's kind of like running a bar. You want the promoter to get the butts into the seats, and then you want the booker to keep those fans entertained and engaged when they're there.
Mm. So that's definitely one thing a good promoter should do is have somebody who handles the bookings of the matches and the storylines as well.
But then sometimes you have promotions like, let's say, the NWA back in the 80s, where the promoter and the booker was Dusty Rhodes. You know, sometimes you have a situation where the guy who's promoting the show is also one of the better minds in professional wrestling who could also book the show.
Huh.
So to me, it really depends on the situation.
And the promoter involved. If it's especially if the promoter was or still is part of wrestling, or still in wrestling in the ring, you would think they would use their experience to tell a good story in the ring to get the people involved in the matches, emotionally involved, not physically involved, emotionally involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to hear somebody saying that.
You need to you need both a promoter and a booker to see how the crowd reacts to certain talent, so that the promoter would help put that person to help sell more merchandise, sell more tickets, and then the booker would use them more in important stories.
Indeed. I mean, accordingly, I mean, the booker will also have to think like a while ahead for some stories too, whether it's like, say, external talent that does a tour for a couple of shows,
yes,
or say they have and also the local talent that they have to home grow and make better. That the ones that they're promoting the most, that they're part of their show.
Right.
Kind of like how AEW has some guys coming in for sometimes bookings, but they have their own talent that they stay on, or even Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. And you want the best talent that you can get for each show, because that's what's going to bring the crowd back. And as you, shall we say, cultivate your promotion, your talent's going to grow, your prestige is going to grow, and you're going to have better quality matches, better quality shows, which is going to increase the amount of people who want to come to the shows.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, someone who was absolutely phenomenal at that, God rest his soul, Fat Frank with Jersey All Pro.
Yeah,
that man could pack a building like there was nothing going on.
He did.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That Rawway Rec Center could hold how many? What? 1,000? 1,500?
Easily 1,500. And there they were going SRO. They were going standing room only.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all took over an entire front row most times. There was like 9 or 10 of us, and we took over an entire front row.
Yeah.
And some of those shows, some of those matches were some of the best wrestling I've ever seen. From being a fan to working with the promotion itself, can honestly say I have never worked with a better promotion than Jersey All Pro. And I've worked with a few, and all of them are very good. But Jersey All Pro is without a doubt the best I ever worked with.
Right. That's your favorite. Well,
Yeah.
that's also your best experiences.
I have a question for you guys.
Ask away.
If I said my answer to this earlier. So if we had our own promotions, what style of wrestling would you guys want to promote? Well, we know I said, the technical / pure style. What would you guys do?
I think I would have a good mix of mostly technical, pure, straight out wrestling. But like I said, when you have a rivalry that's been building over a couple of months, and you're only having 1 or 2 shows a month, and you're building a promotion and you're building a rivalry between 2 wrestlers, and it's getting to a boiling point where it's going to explode. And sometimes there's no other way to end it other than a hardcore style match. Steel cage, TLC. Fans bring the weapons.
Yeah, those kind of things.
Well, suicide rules.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, that's common. Like to end a feud, the payoff is going to be a little more of a gimmick match. But what I was asking was like, would you consider doing like hardcore, like a ECW, where it's hardcore is the dominant style? Because they were always a balanced promotion, but more so in those hot years of 96 and 97, they were leaning a lot into that hardcore style.
For me, the hardcore style, I like it, but at the same time, I can get sick of it real fast. I think for me, it could be a nice combination, but I'd be the one emphasizing more on trying to create storylines and characters like larger life characters. So kind of like how some of the WWE does it, but a lot more lenient in some things. And
the sports entertainment style, or the best maybe comparison I could say is Impact.
Kind of like that.
They are very into the stories and to the character driven, and they lean into that heavy, but they still allow for entertaining wrestling.
Right, like you want to make it where sometimes the lines get a little blurred, between reality and what's in the ring. That kayfabe is sort of like balancing. So can you tell what's real and not real? Like, which way to go with that? I mean, I love the technical style, and the crazy, and also the hard style of like New Japan, like even the strong style, like a lot. That's probably one of my favorites.
I definitely love the strong style.
Style,
strong style is absolutely phenomenal.
Strong style, technical. Lucha is kind of on third, but
what about King's Road?
Absolutely.
So King's Road, for those that might not know, is so New Japan is more the strong style, where it's more of strikes and kick heavy, very MMA catch style. But All Japan and Pro Wrestling Nowhere do what's called King's Road, which is more akin to American style wrestling, but still excuse me, but still very Japanese. I would say it's a mix between strong style and American style.
You know what would be a good idea? Can we think of a match that one can look up to really showcase a good example?
So I can't say anything. You could probably say any one of their historic matches, but I would say probably Kenta Kobashi versus Mitsuhara Misawa. Anytime they stood in the ring with each other, it was an instant classic. Whether it's from their All Japan days or their Pro Wrestling Noah days, those two, they are two of the 4 pillars of All Japan. So if there's any 2 men that I would recommend to see the King's Road style, it's those 2.
I remember them from All Japan. I mean, that's where I got my start with them from the Sega Saturn game that came out with them in it. and that's where I was just like enthralled by them. Kobayashi especially, like
Yeah.
Misawa, I loved his tenacity, but Kobayashi, like, whoa, like the first time I saw him hit that clothesline he does,
Hmm.
that from the pick it up from the ring and just slam it, I was just like,
Hmm.
I felt my neck snap.
You want to hear a fun fact?
Go for it.
It was either ECW Heat Wave 97 or 99.
Mm-hmm.
There was supposed to be a match that Heyman booked that was, I forget who was in the revised match, but he tried to get Mizawa and Kabashi to wrestle in the United States against each other to have a one-on-one
Whoa,
in ECW in the late 90s. We almost had it.
whoa.
Now, yes, they both eventually came to the United States with the Ring of Honor promotion,
Mm-hmm.
but they had separate matches and it was separate years. But we almost had them compete against each other one on one in the United States. Most likely, I think at the ECW arena. I,
I'm looking it
I,
up right now. I'm just trying to see.
so
Yeah,
he,
I got Heatwave 96 looked up. So
I had
because
97, 99. Didn't see
here's the
anything.
thing, right? Heyman actually said this on it was the ECW Uncensored in 2014 when the WWE Network first launched. He was saying because somebody had asked him, "What match do you wish you could have booked in ECW?" And I forgot what match was originally or was revised,
I
but
found it, by the way.
shoot,
Heat Wave 98.
8. I was close.
Yeah, just want to clarify.
Yes, I forgot what match he booked instead, but he tried to get Kabashi and Mizawa on that show, and I could just only imagine how good that match would have been because they brought all Japan to prominence, both together and separately.
Mm.
So to have that match, imagine if ECW instead of working with promotions like uh, Big Japan. Imagine if they would have worked with All Japan, who was the top promotion in Japan at the time.
Yeah.
maybe ECW would still be around.
Maybe. That
Maybe.
means Ring of Honor would have never started.
Just a heads up. Also, the replacement match was looking it up real quick. It was RVD and Sabu versus Hayabusa and Jinsei Shinsaki.
Yes, that's what it was.
And nothing wrong with that either, because Hayabusa
No.
was a damn legend.
He was. He was, and it's a shame he never got a true run in All Japan or New Japan.
No, it's a shame. I saw some of the stuff. It was great work for his time.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh
work.
my God, he. It's in like the high flyer style that he had.
Mm-hmm.
He was a revolution.
Indeed.
He was a revolutionary.
Yeah. So then, as a promoter, then we can go to that part. How hard would it be to try and get some of those matches? Like, it just seems like also that we just said when Heyman tried to get those two.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like the promoter also should be the one listening to the crowd.
Well, yeah. Oh, they need to.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
that's how you know who should come in, who you should push, who you should change, whether it's a heel or baby face, you know. The crowd is your audience, and that's who you should be listening to.
And that's also been a counterpoint sometimes with WWE at times, is people wonder if WWE listens to their audience. We've heard stories about that.
Yes.
Well, we all know that Vince didn't really listen to what the audience wanted. Hunter, on the other hand, having been more in the ring than Vince ever was, definitely knows what the crowd is looking for, and he's reacting to it. He's being proactive and giving the fans what they want.
Except
which
for
is why. Well, yeah, but we all know that was a Vince. We all know that was a Vince thing.
Yeah.
Because Roman is Vince's bitch. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Damn.
Remember,
My whole brain mouth filter thing just hasn't come back from the repair shop yet. Then again, I don't think I ever had one to begin with, but that's another story.
remember, it's the face, the heel, and the tweener. So we have that going.
Yes, indeed.
I play both sides.
But yeah, the crowd is definitely the barometer that you have to pay attention to. As the crowd gets more into it, the barometer is going to go up. You get a cooler match somewhere in the middle of the card, the crowd's going to die, just like the winds on a tornado in the middle of the prairie.
Yep.
It's going to disappear in a heartbeat.
That's why booking something like WrestleMania is always difficult.
Yeah. When you're booking something big, like one of the big four for the WWE, Final Battle for Ring of Honor, Double or Nothing, Wrestle Kingdom, exactly, from New Japan, Double or Nothing, All In or All Out, whatever they want to call it at the time, you know, you have to pay attention to the crowd. The crowd is going to tell you which way to go with the booking, who they think should win, who you think should be pushed more, who should be pulled back. Because right now, the crowd was in a frenzy at the beginning of Raw tonight with that announcement. And Triple H has listened to the crowd over the last few months, and he's heard the displeasure of the crowd because of Roman Reigns still holding on to the titles. And the crowd is tired of it. They're tired of a champion who's not defending the championship. And Triple H said it today. Roman Reigns negotiated a position for himself where he doesn't have to defend the championship as often as he should. When we all started watching wrestling in the 80s and 90s, what was the big line? A champion has to defend the title how often? Every 30 days.
Yep.
How often has Roman Reigns defended those titles?
Not as often.
8, 9 times total in the almost 1,000 days he's been champion.
But then, like, you could use what the Vince McMahon argument was for Brock Lesnar. Yes, he only defends it a select number of times, but when he defends it, that's when, it's like the lights get brighter. It's a bigger match because, oh my God, he's defending the title. I mean, this is not, I can understand saying, hey, this is not New Japan, where the title, you could defend the title maybe once every 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's only at the big shows the title gets defended. But, this is, you could say, oh yeah, well, this is WWE. It should be defended at least once a month. But, that's what made Brock Lesnar so big in his second run with WWE, is because he defended the title when he was champion only a select few number of times. And each time it felt bigger.
But a lot of the times during his second run, who was he defending against?
Roman
Reigns. And after the third time, it got stale.
Yeah, because it's the same match every time.
Yeah. Brock takes Roman to Suplex City. Reigns hits him with a couple of spears and a Superman punch. And then all of a sudden, Roman goes for another spear. Brock picks him up into the F5. 1, 2, 3, and everybody's out the door.
Yep. Everybody's blowing out the door.
Yep. And it got so stale, you could get penicillin off of how stale those matches were.
Yeah.
I'm looking here at the matches that Roman Reigns has had title defenses for since 2020. And oddly enough, we thought of like 8, but there was actually 28 if you count those years.
So does that include house shows or no?
No, but here's the interesting thing. Not house shows. But the interesting here, just to go further with Brain, is that they've all been pay-per-views. That's the only time we've actually he defended on a non-pay-per-view was a couple SmackDowns, but it was
I mean,
the pay-per-views.
to be fair, the way how WWE is, when is the world title defended on a Raw or SmackDown nowadays?
Almost never.
Yeah.
Almost never. Okay. And then just to close off the topic, or at least close off for now, one burning question. We have an example of bookers. So we've talked a little bit about Vince's booking style. Let's take a brief moment just to say yay and nay on Tony Khan's booking style.
To say yay and nay, I think is a little too subjective, or not subjective, but a little too vague.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go from a scale from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a 7.
Okay.
I enjoy it. There are some decisions that I disagree with. Nothing's perfect, but overall, I'm still entertained to watch. I'm still excited to watch Dynamite every week.
Okay, Brain, your turn.
I'm going to have to agree with Cleaner that his booking style is good. The storylines are very entertaining. I'm still on the fence. I still think he's a bit more of a fanboy than an actual booker, promoter, owner. And he needs to stop being like that.
I would suggest
But
that
otherwise, he's doing a very good job. And I'll give it a 7.5.
I would suggest being a fan helps his booking style because he knows, if you think about it, everybody's looking at in from the point of businessmen trying to get the fan.
Right.
But when you're a fan yourself, it's easier to put yourself in the mind of your audience.
Yes, but I still kind of think he needs more business. He needs more business acumen to just get the fans going.
Yeah.
So I give him a 6. We can talk more about it another time.
Yeah, that's another time.
All right, gentlemen. As always, follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, and Apple Podcasts. We are all there, Beyond the Barricade Wrestling Podcast. And next week, we'll go on a magical journey.
Mm-hmm.
Till then, too sweet.
Too sweet, y'all.